To everybody that came out to the LL Cool J event last night. I learned something, I think, when I was there. And what I think I learned is that the reason why it's no male stars in hip-hop anymore that have the impact that LL Cool J has and had is because the goal in hip-hop used to be impact. Not sales, not charts. Impact. How hard, you could impact the streets. And that's no longer the goal. And that's to me, is the sole reason why rap is not what rap used to be. Because we don't care about impacting the streets no more. I want to say shout out to everybody that came.
He said the goal used to be to impact the streets. And there's no more of that. No artist is trying to impact the streets anymore. That's why they don't have the influence that LL Cool J has or had. And people like LL Cool J. Not charts. It wasn't about charts. It wasn't about sales and numbers. It was about impacting the streets. Well, I have a news flash for LL Cool J. Not LL Cool J, sorry. I have a news flash for the OG, Jermain Dupri. With no disrespect. I think the game left y'all behind, man. Yeah, I think the game really left y'all behind. I ain't talking about the game, the rapper. I'm talking about the game, as in hip-hop, rap. And the way how times have changed, right? Let's be raw honest about this. It used to be about impacting the streets when there was a streets. See, there used to be the streets. Back in LL Cool J time, we didn't have social media. There was no Instagram, there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there was no TikTok, there was none of this stuff that you see right now. As a matter of fact, LL Cool J comes from an era where there wasn't even cell phones. We had beepers, homie. Beepers. And you had to go to a public phone and use the public phone. Remember when we used to put in 911 if it's an emergency and somebody's beeper and they'd be like, oh shit, it's 911. You send your number with the 911 and they'll be like, yo, BrainFLo in trouble. Let me go hit them up right quick and see what's up. It's an emergency. It says 911. Now we just text people and be like, hey, yo, hit me up real quick. Blah, blah, blah. Or we make a quick phone call from the celly from your hip, right? Back in the day, you had to go find a payphone. It's a different era. That's what I'm trying to get to. A different time. And if you fast forward up to today, artists back then, they did not understand the business side of the game. This is why this is why they didn't care back then about charting. And they didn't care back then about sales numbers. They wanted to just impact the streets. Motherfuckers was coming out of poverty. A lot of rappers from back in the day came out of the projects and came out of poor neighborhoods, right? You could go back and do your research. I just said that, right? Majority of them did not come from a silver spoon environment or even a nice suburb. They came from ghetto, hood places, and they were just trying to make it out. So they didn't care really about record sales and numbers and points and all that. They left it up to guys like you, Jermain Dupri, and we're going to talk about that in a second. They left it up to guys like you because they trusted you, because you guys came in like the big homies, just like how you came in for Chris Cross, right, and the Brat and all the rest of them. Now, what happened to that generation of artists is only few of them are standing today financially secured and are able to live a good life. If you find most of the artists from LL Cool J era, they live in subpar lives today. They are regular. They not living no superstar life. They not collecting no big checks. You know who's collecting the big checks? The music executives that they signed to. The record executives that they signed to, because all they were concerned about was impacting the streets. You wanted to be the man in your hood. Then you wanted to be the man in your city. You wanted to be the man in your projects first and on your block first. Then you wanted to be the man in your city. And then when you blew up in your city, then your whole city got behind you. Then you took it to another city and another city. Then you took it overseas. And that's how you impacted the streets back then. Well, we could skip all that. The streets, dead. First of all, street niggas don't give no fucks about no streets. Everybody out here backstabbing, snitching. There's no more loyalty in these streets. There's nothing called the streets no more, right? Out here in these streets, streets today exist on your damn phone, on the internet, social media. And the new generation of artists, they saw how y'all did the old generation of artists. Y'all stole their publishing. Y'all stole points on their records. Y'all stole their residual checks that was supposed to be coming back to them. Y'all fucked them up. And they saw that. Like a lot of the new artists today, they are now studying the game because information is more available today than it has ever been. So you could literally, back in the day, right? All these music executives used to pretend to be or were gatekeepers. And if you didn't go through them, you couldn't make it in the industry. That's why we have stories today like, oh, somebody had somebody suck their dick just to sign a record deal. Somebody had to go in a freak off just to get a couple good songs to put on the radio. It wasn't that people wasn't talented. It was that they were gatekeeping and they were abusing people and they were using the knowledge and the experience that they had not to uplift younger artists so they could have longevity in the game, but to rip younger artists off so they themselves could get rich. A lot of these guys today, music executives, they're millionaires and billionaires because they left a whole string of artists behind them who are today broke as shit, yet by any standards. So that whole impact the streets shit, what today artists realize, right, is that they could cut out the middleman, which is y'all, and they could build a audience for themselves. It don't have to be 1 million people. They could build an audience for themselves on social media. They could build their own following. They could have their own subscribers, paid subscribers, and they can have their own money, right? Now, if I have 10,000 people who are loyal to me on my platform, listen to my music, and they pay me $10 a pop, whether it's for subscription to access to my music and my OnlyFans behind the scenes, seeing the insides of my life, and then coming out to my shows and purchasing my merchandise, $10 a month from 10,000 loyal fans. It's a whole lot of fucking money. $10 a month from 10,000 fans. Let me do the math of that real quick, because I ain't too good with math, right? I'm gonna pull up my calculator real quick, and I know somebody laughing is like, God damn, boy, you can't do 10,000. 10,000 times 10. It's $100,000 a month, man. 100 racks a month. So these guys ain't trying to hear from y'all about impact no streets. We trying to impact our bank accounts. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And nobody cares if we impact in the streets. As long as you're a superstar to your fans who support your stuff, your movement, then you good to go. People have realized now, today's artists have realized now, I could live a really good life. I want that Maserati. I could go get it. I want that Bentley. I could go get it. I want to live in a mansion. Shit, $50,000 to $100,000 a month. I can do that over time. And I don't have no record executive telling me what song to drop next, shelving my album, telling me I gotta go in a freak off and suck somebody off just to get on the radio, or to get put on tour with somebody else, or to clear this sample, or to get a collaboration with this person who's blown up already. I don't have to worry about all that. I handle my own shit. I have my wife do my bookings. You know what I mean? I have somebody who handle my accounts, or I handle my accounts myself. People are savvy today and are way more business minded than those back in the day. So to hear an OG like Jermain Dupri say something like, you know why there's no more male stars in hip hop is because people not concerned anymore about impact in the streets. He's right. The artists today are not concerned about impact in the streets. They're concerned about feeding their audience. And you don't have to be a part of their audience. And it's cool, right? The internet made the world bigger, smaller for a lot of people. The world used to be really big, especially without the internet. Nobody in Europe could hear your music. Nobody in Asia and Africa and other continents could hear your music, right? Only people from your block could hear your music. And if you were one of those dudes who you was hooked up to somebody in the hood who had money, which was usually like the drug dealers and the boosters and people who was doing that and then flipping street money into industry money because they believed in you, they'd start taking you around the city and then taking you state to state, right? No more. Now you don't need to do all that. Now you just get on the internet, you know, you put your image together properly, you record your music properly. Even back in the day, right, it used to be very expensive to get into a recording studio. I'm talking about $400 or $500 an hour. Man, listen. These Full Sail schools and all these other engineering, music engineering schools turned out so many people. And I don't mean turned out like tricking out in the streets, walking the blade pimp shit. I'm talking turned out as in a revolving door of graduates who have harnessed the knowledge. Not only that, people so hungry for this knowledge, the thirst for it, and it's right in front of their eyes. It's right there on the internet. Anything you want is on the internet. So some people locked themselves in their bedrooms, invested in a couple of pieces of equipment, taught themselves how to record, mix, master their own music, and boom, voila, it sounds just like it does on the radio. Cut out the damn superstar engineers who used to take a cut and you had to go through him and get a beat by him in order to even make it to the industry. Cut out the damn A&R guy. Cut out the damn music executives. Go straight to your.com. Build your own shit. Your own YouTube, Vivo, whatever. Your own channel and make your money from there. That's that. So I don't want to hear that whole impact the streets shit. The streets dead. The streets been dead. Don't nobody care about the streets no more. Today's artists are way wiser and they don't want to be taken advantage of, and that's why they are out here doing it on their own and getting a lot of money without worrying about impacting the streets. I'm gonna close this video by saying this. A lot of these big music executives that ate lovely off of a lot of the good artists that came from back in the day, that held these people's publishing rights and they collected their royalty checks and made more money off their damn creative work than the actual artists did. Y'all some wicked ass people. You were able to finance your private yachts and your private jet and your big mansions and send your kids to the best private schools. Today's artists know that. They know that. And a lot of them be damned if you do that to them. So what y'all should have been doing is passing the game on. What y'all should have been doing is cultivating the next big artist that could impact the streets, that could be around to be legendary. But y'all not doing that. Y'all going after quick money. Let me go in the hood. Let me slide through the hood and find somebody who is hooked on coke and codeine and who's shooting needles and snorting coke and smoking excess amount of weed and just bombed out his damn mind and he's gang affiliated and tatted up. Let me go find that person and got a little bit of talent and put that person on. Let me put him on and take out a big insurance policy on his life. And let me just give him a good $100,000 advance, $200,000 advance, so he could go stunt for a minute and then die early before he even drops his first album. And I'll collect that insurance money and I'll move on to a next one. Y'all tricking the game. And that's why you don't have the type of artists like the LL Cool J's of that time and those kind of people. LL Cool J is around today and stands today as a monument in hip hop. He survived times, but he had people behind him that believed in him, that believed in him being here for the longevity, that believed in him being here to transition from just rapping to selling merchandise, to doing commercials for big companies, to movies and acting, Hollywood and all that other stuff. Longevity. A lot of the executives today, y'all don't even want to see these young artists in the game 20 years down the road like a LL Cool J. Y'all don't want to see that. Y'all want them crash out right now so you could get that money right now. A lot of the artists today knows that. So the punishment is the best talent out there, they're staying away from the game. And they're doing it independently because they've seen what y'all did to the game. I'm going to leave it right here. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me if I said anything wrong. And tell me if you understand what I just said. I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's Hot Topics TV / BrainFLoTv. You already know, if the topic is hot, we're on it. And shout out to the OG, man. No disrespect intended. I'm out. Peace.